Have you ever been caught in a heated argument, feeling your emotions take over? You're not the only one. Today, we're exploring 5 powerful strategies to stay calm in conflicts and manage your emotions. In the heat of the moment, arguments can feel overwhelming, like everything is working against you. Before you realize it, frustration takes over. But here's the thing, staying calm doesn't just happen, it's a choice, and it's completely within your control. In this video, we'll dive into practical strategies inspired by Stoicism. These techniques aren't about avoiding conflict or suppressing emotions, they're about facing challenges with a clear mind and a steady heart. You don't need complicated tricks or deep meditation, just a few small adjustments can transform the way you handle disagreements. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss new ways to master your emotions. Are you ready to take charge of your reactions? Let's dive right in. Understand that staying calm is a choice. Arguments have a way of pulling you in and creating chaos before you even notice. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your words pour out uncontrollably. In these moments, it's easy to feel like your emotions are in control of you, but here's the truth. Staying calm may be your best option, but it's not automatic. It's a choice you make. Think of emotions in an argument like waves on the ocean. When the storm hits, the waves surge, crashing violently, but beneath the surface, there's calm. This is the wisdom Stoicism offers. While external factors may stir the waters, we have the power to anchor ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have control over your mind, not the events around you. Once you understand this, you'll discover your true strength. This strength starts when you understand that you don't need to fight the waves, you just need to let them pass. The science behind this is simple. When faced with conflict, our fight or flight response activates, flooding the brain with adrenaline and narrowing our focus. This reaction was meant to protect us from physical danger, not verbal arguments. Now, it can turn a small misunderstanding into an emotional battle. Taking a brief pause can interrupt this cycle. You can practice regaining your calm. When tension builds, pause and take one deep breath. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, then exhale for 4. This simple action signals to your brain that you're safe, helping you regain control. This question shifts your focus from winning the argument to staying grounded. Change your perspective. Another useful technique is to view the situation from an outsider's point of view. Imagine you're observing the argument from afar, as if it were between 2 strangers. From this view, it becomes clearer what's driving the conflict, and you can see that reacting impulsively will only escalate things. This allows you to respond with thoughtfulness, not emotion. Staying calm is a choice. Even during a heated argument, it's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about pausing just long enough to let the storm pass. When you practice this pause, you'll begin to see arguments less as threats and more as chances to strengthen your emotional control. After all, true control begins when you realize that while you can't control the waves, you can always learn to surf the power of listening over speaking. Arguments often seem like a race to see who can speak the loudest or defend their point the fastest. But what if staying calm isn't about speaking at all? What if the true power comes from simply listening? Most of us don't realize this, but arguments escalate when both sides focus on planning their next response instead of truly understanding each other. Silence, when intentional, isn't a weakness, it's a strategy. When emotions run high, the natural impulse is to interrupt or rush to defend yourself. It feels urgent, like if you don't speak up immediately, you'll lose ground. But here's the truth, interrupting only fuels the fire. It signals that you're not listening, which often leaves the other person feeling unheard and frustrated. Listening, on the other hand, does the opposite. It de-escalates tension, diffuses anger, and often gives you insight into the real issue behind the argument. Think of an argument like a dance. You can't move gracefully if you're too focused on planning your next step. Instead, You need to stay present and pay attention to your partner's rhythm. Listening works the same way. It helps you tune into the deeper emotions and needs behind someone's words. As a rule, practice reflective listening. You can try this technique to unlock the power of listening. Reflective listening. This means repeating or summarizing what the other person has said, not to mimic them but to show you understand. For example, if someone says, "You never consider my opinion when we make decisions," resist the urge to defend yourself. Instead, respond with something like, "It sounds like you feel I don't take your input seriously. Is that right?" This small shift changes the tone of the conversation. It shows you're not just reacting, but genuinely trying to understand, which often softens the other person's position. Control your body language. Another tool to help you listen better is controlling your body language. Arguments aren't just about words, they're also about what your posture and gestures communicate. Crossed arms, a raised voice, or even rolling your eyes can signal that you're not open to hearing the other person. Instead, practice open body language. Uncross your arms, maintain soft eye contact, and occasionally nod to show you're engaged. These cues tell the other person that you're open to listening and understanding their perspective. When others feel safe to express themselves, it often reduces their defensiveness. Stoicism teaches us the importance of controlling our impulses. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Most of what we say and do is unnecessary." Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? This is especially true in arguments. Often, the urge to speak comes from ego, the need to prove we're right or defend our pride. But when you listen first, you're not giving up your power, you're using it wisely. You're showing restraint, which is the ultimate form of strength. The next time you find yourself in the middle of a heated discussion, pause and commit to listening. Instead of speaking, ask yourself, what is this person really trying to tell me? What emotions are behind their words? You might be surprised by what you uncover. Listening doesn't just calm the argument, it shifts the focus from conflict to connection. When you make the other person feel heard, you're much more likely to resolve the issue with mutual respect. In a world where everyone wants to be understood, be the one who seeks to understand first. True calm isn't about winning the argument or dominating the conversation. It's about controlling yourself so effectively that even silence becomes your greatest tool. Learn to view an argument as collaboration. Arguments often feel like a battle, a clash of egos where one person wins and the other loses, especially when emotions are running high. But what if an argument didn't have to be a battlefield? What if, instead of being opponents, you and the other person could be teammates working together toward a solution? Shifting this perspective is one of the most powerful ways to stay calm and diffuse conflict. Most arguments escalate because they're fueled by the me versus you mentality. Each person feels attacked, reacts defensively, and is determined to prove their point. But think of this. If the ultimate goal is to solve a problem, does it really matter who's right? Arguments shouldn't be about victory, they should be about understanding. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This wisdom reminds us that true strength lies in bridging gaps, not widening them. Think of an argument as a boat caught in rough waters. If you and the other person row in opposite directions, the boat spins in circles, going nowhere. But if you can shift your focus and row together toward understanding, compromise, and resolution, you move forward. The storm may still be crashing all around you, but the boat stays steady because you're working as a team. This shift doesn't just calm the argument, it transforms it into an opportunity for connection. Learn to see an argument as collaboration. Start by changing your language. Words are powerful, and in the heat of conflict, they can either escalate or disarm. Instead of saying, "You always do this," or "You never listen," which only puts the other person on edge, try saying, "How can we figure this out together?" or "What can we both do to make this better?" This shift from you to we may seem small, but it creates a sense of partnership. Instead of blaming, it signals that you're not attacking them, you're inviting them to solve the problem with you. Another way to approach collaboration is to find common ground even when you strongly disagree. For example, let's say you're arguing about how to split household responsibilities. Instead of focusing on what the other person isn't doing, acknowledge what you both value: a clean home, fairness, and teamwork. Once you establish that shared foundation, you can build solutions together instead of tearing each other down. It's also essential to focus on the issue at hand rather than attacking the person. Criticizing someone's character, "You're so lazy," or "You're always selfish," shifts the argument into a personal attack, which guarantees defensiveness and hostility. Instead, address the behavior or the problem itself. "I feel overwhelmed. When the chores pile up, can we figure out a way to split them more evenly?" This approach separates the person from the problem, making collaboration possible. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. You can't control how someone else reacts, but you can control how you approach the conversation. When you prioritize collaboration over competition, you take the first step toward diffusing conflict. That you're no longer trying to win, you're trying to find a solution that works for both sides. This mindset not only calms the argument but also builds trust and strengthens relationships. Ask yourself during your next disagreement, am I trying to understand this person, or am I trying to prove them wrong? If it's the latter, take a moment to think. Remind yourself that arguments aren't about conquering the other person, they're about finding a way forward together. Collaboration doesn't mean giving up your values or staying silent when you disagree. It means bringing empathy and mutual respect into the conversation. When you learn to see an argument as collaboration, it transforms from a source of stress into a space for growth. That you're no longer opponents on a battlefield, you're teammates rowing toward the same goal. In that change, you'll find calm, clarity, and solutions that honor both sides. Master your body. To master your mind, your body often tells the truth before your words do. A clenched jaw, raised shoulders, shallow breathing, these physical signs reveal that tension has taken over long before you notice it. In an argument, your body and mind are like two sides of the same coin. One feeds the other. If your body is tense, your mind will follow suit, amplifying anger or defensiveness. But the reverse is also true. When you calm your body, your mind begins to settle too. Think of your body as the steering wheel of your emotions. Arguments are like driving through a storm. If your grip tightens on the wheel or your foot slams the accelerator, the situation feels more dangerous than it is. But if you loosen your grip and slow your pace, suddenly the storm becomes manageable. Stoicism reminds us of the importance of controlling external reactions to maintain inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Mastering your body is one of the most direct ways to exert this power. Start with your breath. It's the simplest, most effective tool to bring your body back to a state of calm in the middle of an argument. When you feel the tension rising, try this. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 counts. Repeat this cycle 3 or 4 times. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your brain that tells your body it's safe, which helps reduce feelings of anger and anxiety. Next, focus on releasing physical tension. Arguments tend to make us brace. Without even realizing it, your shoulders creep toward your ears, your fists clench, and your muscles stiffen as if preparing for a fight. Consciously scan your body for these signs of tension and release them. Drop your shoulders, try to unclench your jaw, and open your hands. These small adjustments may seem insignificant, but they send a powerful message to your brain. There is no threat here. Your posture also plays a crucial role. Think about how you physically position yourself in arguments. Do you cross your arms defensively? Do you lean forward aggressively? Your posture communicates as much as your words do, and it can either escalate or de-escalate the situation. Try adopting an open, non-threatening stance. Keep your arms relaxed at your sides or rest them on a table. Sit or stand with an upright but soft posture, confident yet approachable. This not only helps calm your mind but also signals to the other person that you're not a threat, which can help diffuse their defensiveness. It's important to also watch the tone of your voice. You might not think of it as part of your body, but your voice carries the emotional undercurrent of your words. A raised, sharp tone can trigger an equally hostile response, while a steady, measured tone encourages calm. If you feel your voice rising, consciously lower it and slow down your speech. The deliberate act of softening your tone can create a ripple effect, encouraging the other person to mirror your calmness. These physical adjustments, breathing deeply, releasing tension, adopting an open posture, and softening your tone, are small, practical steps, but their impact is profound. They work because they help you step out of the fight or flight mode that fuels arguments. When your body is relaxed, your mind is free to think clearly, listen actively, and respond thoughtfully. It's also worth practicing these techniques outside of arguments so they become second nature. For example, at the end of your day, try to check for how your body has reacted to tension throughout the day. Pay attention to your breathing during stressful moments at work or home. These habits build a foundation of calm that you can draw from when conflicts arise. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in self-control. Controlling your body might seem like a small piece of the puzzle, but it's foundational. By controlling your physical state, you create the conditions for emotional clarity, and when your mind is calm, you can face any argument with the grace and composure of someone who truly understands their own power. Let go of the need to win. Winning feels good, doesn't it? That rush of satisfaction when you prove your point or land the perfect comeback in an argument. It's tempting to aim for victory at all costs, especially when emotions are running high. But here's the hard truth. Winning an argument often comes at the expense of something far more valuable: peace, understanding, and connection. Most conflicts aren't about surface-level disagreements. They're driven by ego, the need to protect yourself, prove your worth, or avoid feeling wrong. The need to win can blind you to the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what's the cost of being right? Does winning this argument strengthen your relationship, or does it create distance? Does it bring resolution, or does it leave a trail of resentment? Marcus Aurelius understood this dilemma well when he said, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" In other words, the damage done in the heat of the argument often outweighs whatever started it. Letting go of the need to win doesn't mean giving up or agreeing with something you don't believe in. It means shifting your focus from dominating the conversation to understanding it. Think of an argument as a fire. When you feed it with ego-driven responses, sarcasm, defensiveness, or blame, it grows hotter and harder to control. But when you choose to step back, pause and let the flames die down, the fire eventually extinguishes itself. One way to let go of the need to win is to practice humility. This doesn't mean lowering your worth, it means recognizing that your perspective isn't the only one that matters during an argument. Ask yourself, is it possible that I'm missing something here? What can I learn from the other person's viewpoint? This mindset creates space for curiosity and empathy, which are essential for resolving conflict. Another powerful tool is learning to say, "You might be right." These 4 words don't mean you're conceding defeat. Instead, they signal that you're willing to listen and consider the other person's perspective. This simple phrase has a disarming effect. It diffuses tension and opens the door to a more collaborative conversation. You're not agreeing just to keep the peace, you're showing the other person that you value their input, which often inspires them to do the same. It's also helpful to think about the argument's long-term impact. Imagine looking back on this conflict a week, a month, or even a year from now. Will it still matter? In most cases, the answer is no. This realization can be freeing. It reminds you that some battles aren't worth fighting, and that preserving the relationship is often more important than winning the debate. Letting go of the need to win also means being okay with unresolved disagreements. Not every argument needs a perfect resolution. Sometimes agreeing to disagree is the best outcome, especially if it means maintaining mutual respect. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and that includes accepting that we can't always change someone else's mind. During your next argument, try this: take a moment to ask yourself what truly matters. Is proving your point worth the strain it puts on the relationship? Is the argument helping you grow, or is it feeding your ego? These reflections can help you shift your focus from victory to understanding, from conflict to connection. When we prioritize understanding over winning, we create space for compromise. Arguments, when approached thoughtfully, can become opportunities for deeper understanding and personal growth. By consciously choosing to listen, reflect, and value the relationship over the need to be right, we pave the way for stronger bonds and healthier communication. Remember, the most meaningful victories are those that strengthen, not weaken, the connections that matter most.